Hey, what's up? What's going on, everybody? That's right. It's the Boxing Source checking in, and I have a great guest here with me. Of course, some of y'all may be familiar with this brother right here. Of course, being part of the Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields. That's usually on Tuesdays at the War a Week Boxing channel. Of course, he is a former fighter, and of course, now current trainer there in the Texas area. That's right. It's Coach Ronnie Shields. What's going on, Coach?
Oh man, working, bro. Trying to get everybody right.
Hey, I feel you. I feel you, man. I feel you. So, we got like a busy schedule here coming up. So, we're trying to, get this thing here within the hour. I know it's going to be different there than the, hey, ain't no ducking the Dutch, nobody. It's time for fact or fiction. No, it won't necessarily be like that. So we're
Right.
just gonna keep it in the traditional question and answer type of thing here. With what's going on, man, because I know you've been very busy over the past few months, and what's been pretty much slated for what's going on in 2025. But first off, I want to go back to what was going on in overtime boxing when Andreas Casarakis beat Brandon Adams to win that overtime boxing tournament there at 154 pounds out there. He won by decision. Assess that performance there from Katz says, Katz was really like getting it in and going to the inside and working at Brandon Adams from the start of the bout.
Well, that was the plan. I've been knowing Brandon a long time. Matter of fact, he fought Jamal Charlo. So, also I'm familiar with the way he worked. And, you know, he's like 36, 37 years old, man. And he's still a good fighter. He can really
Mhm.
fight. And so when I made my game plan, I did a lot of studying, a lot of watching different fights from back when to his current fights that he had. And, I knew it was gonna be a tough fight. But I told Andreas, I said, look, man, from the very beginning, I say, don't let him breathe. You got to stay on him the whole time. Don't give him a chance to get on the outside and try to box you because Brandon is a really good boxer and he's a great counterpuncher. And I didn't want to leave him any space to be able to get his jab off and start working combinations from the outside. So from the very beginning, the first round didn't go exactly like I wanted it to, but
Mhm.
until the end of the round, like the last 45 seconds, Andreas really picked it up. And when he got back to the corner, I told him, look, man, this is the way you got to start. Don't finish, start like that and finish like that, you know. And then from the second round on, he did it, man. He put a lot of pressure, he threw a lot of punches, and he landed a lot. So, and we just kept Brendan going backwards, and he's not used to doing that. And
Mhm.
like I say, but he's such a good fighter, man, that I knew it was going to be tough, and it was. But my guy got the victory.
Yeah, he was definitely there to, get the work in and make sure that, Brandon Adams didn't have that space. So he just
Yep,
had Cat Records come in there and just work the jab and then just get to the inside and just keep working. And, every
yep,
time Brandon Adams tried to work around that, all he did was just, stay right here and do the same
absolutely.
thing. He kept doing the
Yep,
same thing. And
yep,
that activity was the key there for Casa Records winning that particular bout.
no doubt, no doubt. We
Yep.
put in a lot of hard work for that, man, and training camp was really great. We had great sparring. We, he, Andreas, man, he's just a true fighter. He really works hard. He really has, know what he wants to do in the sport. And he's striving to do it, and he's working really hard to make sure that he gets there.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Andreas. He is very attentive when it comes to what goes on in the ring and outside of the ring because that was one thing that stood out over the course of this tournament was that he would kind of be almost like a commentator himself after the fights because he would assess his fights and what he did right and what he did wrong and everything like that. So you could
Right.
see that he's constantly working to be a better fighter every single day.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing more of him in 2025. And with that being said, that win over Brandon Adams at least got him in the rankings at the WBA World Boxing Association at number 13.
Yes.
But there's also another contender in your camp that is at number 2 in the WBA and ranked in other organizations as well, in Yoenis Tejas. And he had a great
Yes.
showing there in Orlando, Florida against Johan Gonzalez, finishing with the stoppage. I thought that was just great. He just basically broke him down over the course of like the third round until the actual stoppage. Do you see there being a plan for him to a significant fight there at 154 pounds before contending for a world title?
Well, I think the plan now is for him to fight for an interim title at 154, and that's going to either be in March or late February. We're not really sure yet. Hopefully, he can land a spot on the tank card, and it'll be on that show, hopefully. But we're still not sure yet. We haven't got any word about when. But he's definitely going to fight early March or late February.
Gotcha. Like I said, I mean, he's there at number 2. I know they got Abbas Barao there at number 1 currently. I got to see like what's going on with the WBA. They usually have their rankings at the end of the month, so it could change at some point or whatever it is. So gotta be on the lookout for that. But hey, if they kind of like set up that fight, maybe it would be for I don't know, March 1st, March 15th, or something like that, then that would kind of like put them in position to, eventually contend there for, either the interim title or, full title there, at 154 pounds. I mean, yeah, there's like a lot of activity there at 154 within your own camp. I just mentioned, those 2 fighters there, Andreas Casarakis, Yoenis Tejas, there, man. You got Vito Milnicki Jr. that's out there as well. A few others, man. It's just a very busy camp there just within that division alone, man. I don't know how, like I said, I don't know how you even handle it.
Actually, Vito is moving up to 160. His next fight. His next fight is going to be on Valentine's Day, February 14th in New York City. So, and I think it's going to be at the theater, Madison Square Garden.
Square Garden? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we're looking forward to his middleweight debut. And, Vito, he's another one, man. Works hard. This kid, he don't know how to stop working. He really wants to be a champion, and he knows it takes hard work. And and I'm so lucky to have all these guys around the same weight that's helping each other. And and that's the great thing. These guys help each other. And along, I got Charlo. He's going to go March 1st. So all these guys, they'll be sparring together, helping each other out. And, and it's just great work, man. And, and I'm very fortunate to have all those guys, in my gym.
Yeah, I mean, that was, one of the things I was going to ask about in reference to Jamal Charlo. I'll get into, that a little bit more detail here later on. But, when you talk about Vito Milnicki Jr., of course, he's had himself a busy 2024. We saw him there against Ronald Cruz there in May, and then, had a fight there in August, and then, turned around and had another fight there at that theater at Madison Square Garden in September. So, he's definitely been able to get in the ring and get busy there within 2024, and seeing that he'll be right back there at the Madison Square Garden Theater in 2025 there, that's definitely going to be good there. And of course, working with him, and of course Vito Milnicki Sr. there, and him being all involved in that type of stuff too, man. I gotta catch up with Vito Milnicki Sr., man, because he's a definite character for sure, man.
He is.
That what happened in Vegas in May, that's still hilarious, man. That's still hilarious.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Man. And but you talk about the thing there with Jamal Charlo, and him getting back in the ring. You said there that they're trying to lock him down for March. Would be maybe March 1st.
March 1st, yes.
Particular card. So you've gotten more confirmation as far as like him.
It's definitely going to be March 1st.
Okay, yeah,
on a tank card.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, he's definitely been there in the gym. He's, had a couple of posts there that, he's been working in the gym. But, like you said, all of these guys there within that 154, 160, 168 have been pretty much, working with each other. So you have all of those guys that I named. You have, Osvari there. You have Jamal Charlo there that's, being given all of the people work. So they've been definitely
Yeah.
working hard preparing for, the fighters that they have coming up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Now the thing there with Jamal Charlo, I'm sure y'all have an opponent. I kind of had been getting some word in reference to somebody else that may have been a potential opponent, but I don't think it's necessarily time for that yet. I know that they had placed Jamal Charlo at number 6, if I'm not mistaken, at
Yes, number 6.
168.
Yes.
Okay. But when they did that, it's like, oh wait, well, if he's at number 6 at 168, and they got somebody that's now a WBA interim champion, and maybe they could put that together. And I'm like, I'm not all too sure about all that. So I said, y'all may have to, hold off on that one there for a little bit. You know what I mean? Oh man. But also, in your camp there, and this is going into the, like I have on a cover photo there with David Morrell Jr. there. He has that
Yes.
well anticipated bout there in the light heavyweight division against David Benavidez on February.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
of course, those that have followed you over the course of the past couple of years, there, like I said, being there with Joseph Herron, shout out to Joseph Herron there. We talked about the history there between Osvari and David Benavidez, and how many times that this fight could have been possible at the super middleweight division, but it's now finally happened. What is the level of excitement that Osvari has for this upcoming bout on February 1st?
Well, he's really excited about it. He really wants to shut Benavidez up. And for me, I think Benavidez is a really good fighter. So you won't ever hear me go out and talk trash about another fighter, because I won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
These fighters, they do that themselves. It's up to them. The 2 guys, they got to fight. So they been going back and forth, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Nobody else is supposed to be involved in this thing. Let these guys hash it out. Tell the people what they're going to do. That's fine for them to say it. But not for nobody else to be jumping in, because nobody else is jumping in that ring but them guys.
Mm-hmm.
But look, I'm very, very, very excited, man. He's training hard every single day. We got great sparring for him. Still got more guys coming in for him. And, he's just so excited, man. And he just can't wait till February the 1st.
Oh man, yeah, because I know they had the thing there in the press conference, and they had like one segment that they were, talking with Osvari there, and he was just talking a whole lot of trash there to David Benavidez. But the part that got me was like they were trying to say, "Hey, Martin Bader, could you go ahead and translate?" I'm like, "Oh man." I mean that was just something. But yeah, like ever since, like even with the initial face off that where they have the whole thing with the like they do the promotion, the camera, and all that type of stuff. And it's like, hey man, you better get ready, man. I'm gonna beat you up, man. I'm gonna beat you. I mean, I'm just putting it, cleanly right there. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Osvari's definitely been waiting for this one for a good amount of time now. So, this one is, like I said, a key bout there in the light heavyweight division. We have, the number 1 and number 2 fighters there going to face each other in a rematch in February 22nd. So that's like 3 weeks from this particular bout. And there, you already had like what the WBC basically say, hey, the winner of this fight between, Morrell and Benavidez is the top guy to face, the winner of that particular rematch. So that just shows you how much is on the line on February 1st.
Absolutely. And, the good thing is my guy's taking it very seriously. And I know Benavidez is also. So look, this is a match made in heaven, man. This is gonna be fireworks from 1 to 12. if it goes that long, and both guys, both guys are going to, of course, put their best foot forward in this fight, but I'm really confident in my guy, in Morrell. I know, what he's capable of doing. And, for a guy with only 11 fights, you know, people are saying, why is he taking this fight? He only has 11 fights. Hey, because of who he is, what he does, and how he does it, and, I mean, it's just, this guy, he's one of the top guys, man. And, and he's going to prove it on February 1st in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena.
Yep, no doubt, no doubt. Real quick shout out to those listening live and those on the live chat there. Jesus M there says saludos to you. And Brother Bronzeman says, this is the interview we needed. Yeah, here with Coach Ronnie Shields, one of the best trainers in the sport. And he says we are confident in Morrell too. Going on that, we talked about this history that, they had initially inquired about fighting Morrell when he was around like 3-0 and 4-0.
Yes.
There, and you said like, hey, listen, we'll be able to see if we could get this done, but just give us some time here to work with my guy Osvari, and then we'll re-inquire with that. But like you said,
Right.
It's still like a mutual respect between both camps. You talk about that, of course, with Jose Benavidez Sr. and things like that. Y'all talk multiple times over the years too. But like I said, in the ring is basically like I said, a chess match. Between two trainers, as far as like having a right strategy to position their fighter to go ahead and win that bout.
Yeah. So, when my very first fight with David, right afterwards they came and they wanted to fight David then.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hold up, man, the man got 3 fights, and I just started working with him. I got 1 fight under my belt with him. Y'all just trying to get him, before he can really learn more things. He's already good, but you just want to catch him early. And, and I told his father, and me and his father kind of got into it a little bit, but, we settled our differences. We had a long talk, face-to-face long talk. And, it's like I told him, I said, look, man, let the fighters fight. Let them fuss and argue when they're going to get it on. I said, but it's going to happen. Trust me. It's going to happen. So does my guy get a few more fights in under his belt, then we're going to see you. Then, then we're going to see who's the best. And we see, me and Jose Sr., we see each other now. We handshake all the time, and, everything is cordial between us now. So that's a good thing. It's like I told him, look, man, I ain't got nothing against you or your son. This is business. But, let these guys do the arguing and the fussing and the fighting. It's not up for me and you to sell this fight because we're not fighting each other. They fight it. Let them sell a fight. And this is the way it has to be in the sport. You got too many other people on the outside trying to sell a fight. Let these guys sell it and sell it themselves. And so, and it's kind of been that way for the last few months now that, the fighters are doing it. Everybody else have to stay out of it. Let the fighters do it. Because I'm telling you something, this is going to be a hell of a fight. This is going to be a fight everybody wants to see. And we, I'm just saying, we're going to be so ready for this. And I just can't wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, a number of fight fans and those that talk about boxing have said that this one, once they had announced that this fight was taking place, that they were definitely looking forward to it because you have 2 guys there that are pretty much around the same height, same size, and that type of thing. There to go ahead and clash against each other, and like I said, with the history that they have, that makes it a instant rivalry type of thing or instant rivalry type of atmosphere, for the upcoming fight there on February 1st. Now, I'm going to go more into the thing there with Morrell Jr. going into this bout, but I also have their bronze man. He says, I want to see Milnicki Jr. versus Xander Zayas. We had just talked about the thing there with Vito Milnicki Jr. Actually, he's moving up there in weight in to 160 pounds. Is scheduled
Yes.
for February 14th at the theater at Madison Square Garden. So we'll have to hold off on that particular fight here, at least for now, because you have Vito Milnicki that's going to be going up to 160 pounds. Now, back to David Morrell Jr. Now, he had his last fight there over in Los Angeles, part of that large card there against David Benavidez. And,
Yes.
he got, a unanimous decision win there against Kalajic. And there were a number of folks that were saying like, hey, I mean, what's going on there with David Morrell Jr. And he wasn't able to, I guess, finish off Kalajic. But, at least for me, I was able to see Kalajic on March 13th on the ProBox TV card there when he fought Sullivan Barrera and ended up, stopping him. He's had like a good amount of good fights there while being in the ProBox circuit that built him up to that particular level. So he had been getting himself prepared there, particularly within that division and things like that. So go into how that fight turned out there for Osvari.
Well, you got to understand, styles make fights in this boxing business, and a lot of people don't understand that. That styles do make the fights, and I call him Hot Rod. I don't call him Kalajic because his nickname is Hot Rod. So, yeah. But Hot Rod, the type of fighter is, he's very awkward, and he didn't want to stand toe to toe with David. He definitely was trying to get out of the way, and he did. He did. He was moving, and we was cutting the ring off, and I always tell my guys, look, sometimes things not going to always go your way, but an ugly win is better than a pretty loss.
Always.
So, absolutely. So, but look, my guy won. He won at least 10 rounds out of that fight. So, we took the win, and now we're moving on, and we're fighting David Benavidez. So this is the way it has to be. I mean, you're not going to look good in every fight. I mean, it's just the way boxing is. Nobody looks good every fight. Some fights are going to be close. Some fights are going to be the opponent is not willing to engage, like Hot Rod wasn't willing to engage, and but David is he's gonna fight guys like that. It's gonna happen, So, but the most important thing is to put together enough to win and move on to the next fight.
Yeah, exactly. And you said something key there. It's one thing when a fighter is there and you're able to be there within range and that type of thing, and they're willing to fight. But if they're not willing to engage, then you're gonna have to deal with something completely different. And it's like different situations. Like, for example, I can't necessarily recall the ring, but I think it was like a pretty sizable ring, right? So if you got something like that, then you're going to have a guy that's going to be able to move around the ring a lot, either move around the ring, or what they'll do is they'll try to tie you up so that you won't be able to get your offense off. So they'll grab around your hands and that type of thing. So you do have those instances happen in fights. And, I seen like an example on, November 9th over in Philadelphia with Boots Ennis and Karen Chikagian.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Boots had scored a knockdown, but then after the knockdown, you seen Chikagian, grab and hold and all types of stuff. And, it makes it difficult for some there to, make an adjustment and be able to stop their opponent. Shout out to my guy Cap Quest here in the building. He says, "Hey, my boy," he says, "Morrell didn't look great last time, but Benavidez is a different fight." Yeah, I mean, like I said, styles make fights. So with Benavidez is gonna be there pretty different as that thing comes up here on February 1st at the T-Mobile Arena. There, hey, tickets are available there, so y'all go ahead and get the tickets because, hey man, Las Vegas around that time is like probably the best times to be around there because the weather ain't that bad at all. It ain't too hot, nothing like that. So the weather's perfect time. You feel me?
Right. That's right.
Now, you also had like in the news circles, the announcement recently of Kid Austin Floyd Schofield getting a WBC world title shot there against, as I say, Ashakor Fisahid Stevenson on February 22nd. Now, you've been working with Schofield there for some time. And he had his bout there against Renee Tejas-Garon. After that bout, how will he make that adjustment to fighting a guy with the style of Shakur Stevenson? Because those are two completely different styles right there.
Well, you got to understand that I don't train Floyd Schofield.
Mm.
I only help them at certain times when he has a fight. His manager always called me and asked me would I be available for certain fights and stuff like that. But I will not be a part of his camp for this fight.
Okay.
So, because, I think they're going to train in Miami somewhere. And, and I'm definitely not going to Miami. I have too much going on here,
Right.
as far as my fights are concerned. I got February the 1st with, David Morrell. And then I have February the 8th in San Antonio with Justin Paulo. Then I got February the 14th with Vito Manicki. So, and then March 1st, March 1st with Jamal Charlo. And maybe, around the 21st to the 27th of February, maybe, Taz, Johannes Taz. So if you don't fight on the March 1st card. So my schedule is busy and, I just don't have time.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, back to back fights, they're right within those, what is that, about 5 weeks, I would say, man. So it's like, man, you got to go from, what is it, like Las Vegas and back, and you got, what's going on February 8th, and then you got New York City, and then you got like all these other spots that you have to go to. But I mean, you had these experiences multiple times over the past few years. So hey, it's definitely an experience to say the least. Talk about frequent flyer miles. My goodness. You feel me? So that's going to be something there. And you talk about there with Justin Paul, though. That was actually one of the things I was going to bring up because he had that bout that was on Pro Box in February, and with everything there with the decision, I don't know what went down with all that, but now he's able to get back in the mix and get himself active. That's going to be full 12 months there since that fight here on Pro Box. So definitely good to have him getting back in the ring.
Oh yeah, Justin, he's training now. Justin's a hard worker, and as you stated, the last fight, he definitely was robbed in that fight, but we know things happen in boxing like this and, you have to move on. You can't just sit there and think about that fight. Now we have to move on. The opponent, he didn't want to take the rematch, because he knew what happened and he knew if they fight again, it'll be worse for him. So he won't take the rematch. So we have to move on. We can't sit back and just think about you got a bad decision. So life goes on. So we had to move on, and we did. And he has a really tough opponent coming up on February 8th in San Antonio. So we just concentrate on that right now, and and trying to get Justin back in the win column.
Yeah, no doubt. That's going to be something there in San Antonio. Like I said, I mean, at the very least, at least it's, a little bit of a drive, like I said, from, your area to San Antonio.
I'll be flying there.
Houston to San Antonio. So I mean, I've done it, but, but I don't know about like, if you would, go ahead and do that type of thing. I'm not sure.
No, I'm definitely not driving.
I mean, so I mean that's most of the stuff that you have there going on within your camp that's coming up at least within those first 5 or 6 or 8 weeks there within 2025. Is there like anyone else that we would be on the lookout for here pretty soon?
Well, like I say, from February the 1st to March 1st, we be busy there. But after that, I am working with just heavyweight. His name is Josh Edwards. He represents the U.S. in Olympics, and he did win the Pan American Games, and he fought in the Olympics and got a bad decision there, and so he's about to turn pro, and I'm just started working with him a few days ago, and
Mhm.
he's a heavyweight. He's a young guy. He's 24 years old, and he's about 6'3", uh, and you know, he really has some good skills on him. So I'm looking forward to working with him and getting his career started. And hopefully, within a year or two, you guys would understand and see that this guy's the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you talk about him getting the win in the Pan American Games there. What was that? The super heavyweight division and whatnot. But we had that whole thing there with Diego Lindsay in Paris, and that was, of course, a crazy decision there. So,
Right.
he's getting off from that, and like I said, hitting up your gym there and about to turn pro. So, but we'll be on the lookout for that there. Of course, he's from that area there in the Houston area.
Yes.
So, that's going
Yes.
to be something there. Hey, he's like there at 6'3", man. He's around my height, but yeah, he'll be
Yeah.
definitely more refined than I am, so to speak. So yeah, we'll definitely look forward to seeing him there in that. So now I wanted to get into like a few topics there in the sport of boxing. We have what's coming up within a couple weeks there with the rematch between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. There for as they say, the unified champion, but this is for the top spot in the heavyweight division anyway, right?
Right.
Now,
Yes.
in that initial fight, I felt that Fury had the chance to dominate the fight, but Alexander Usyk was able to get a second win and get back in the fight, almost stop Tyson Fury, but ultimately win that bout.
Yes.
What do you feel that Tyson Fury needs to do in order to win the rematch?
Really and truly, I don't think Tyson Fury can do anything better than he did in the first fight. You
Mm,
know, I think he had to take advantage early, like he did the first time, but he got to be consistent, right? On the back end, and that's going to be his problem with Usyk, because Usyk, as you saw, he really gets stronger as the fight goes on,
hmm
and that's a rare thing in the sport. When you see a guy get stronger, especially a guy moving up from cruiserweight to heavyweight,
Yeah.
and Usyk, man, he's just such a good fighter. I don't think Fury can do anything better than what he did last time. I think he's going to have to continue to be the front runner, but
hmm
he's going to have to be in better shape,
Yeah.
and if he just stand in front of Fury, I mean Usyk, and Usyk really hurt him,
Yeah.
he really hurt him, and I didn't think Usyk had that power to do that, but obviously he does, and when he dropped him, I was like, I was shocked.
Yeah.
You know, I was shocked that he dropped Fury, and he finished up so strong. So so Usyk, man, you can't underestimate this guy because he he finds a way to win,
hmm
and that's a great thing in the sport when you find a way to win, because sometimes you can't just rely on your boxing skills. You got to dig deep, and you got to find it, and he did that.
Yeah.
And again, in this fight coming up, I think Usyk, is going to try to fight the same fight he fought last time. He's going to be more, if Usyk try to keep it close early, I see him winning a wide decision. But if he let Fury again come out and dominate like the first 4 or 5 rounds, the way he did last time, then he's going to have to do what he did last time: pick up
hmm
the pace, more punches, you know, more body work like he did last time, and then
hmm
soften Fury up for the headshots. You
Yeah.
know,
In my thing with Fury was, in those first couple of rounds, he had, Usyk do some work, but it was almost like Fury was doing some, dodging, being in the corner and showboating and all that type of stuff.
yes,
But wasn't really, there offensively as far as like throwing punches. So he may have like given rounds up there within those first couple of rounds. And then, like I said, when I saw him there from rounds like 3, 4, like through 7, he was like dominating, using his range, moving around when he could while he was in range. So he would get away
yes,
from Alexander Usyk before Usyk could start his offense. But
yep,
then you had the thing there, like I said, Usyk had his second win, but also Fury was, getting tired himself. So at
he
least for me
was.
in the rematch, that's the thing that I'm going to be looking for. Is Fury able to have, enough stamina and energy to push through those last few rounds there. Because if he's able to do that, then yeah, he could probably, pull off the rematch. But if he doesn't, then he'll end up losing again. And for me, for Fury, I'm thinking if he loses his fight, particularly in a certain way, if it is by stoppage or knockout, it might be his last fight.
Oh, absolutely, it's going to be his last fight. Absolutely, because he's not getting any younger. I mean, older. He's not. He's not. I'm sorry. He's not getting any younger. He's getting older. As because you got to understand when you get a certain age and you're in that gym every day, you're taking licks every day. It ages you.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It really ages you, and you get hurt more in the gym than you do in the fight. And but I think that for Fury to win, he has to get that 4 or 5 round advantage from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But he has to be consistent throughout the whole fight, because if he tires out like he did last time, then it's a chance Usyk can stop him.
Yeah.
So we've seen that. We've seen Usyk has that in him to do that. And I just think that, Fury, I don't know, man. He talks the talk.
Yeah.
He does. He talks the talk, but it's a big difference when you step inside of that ring. Because the other guy has something to say.
Yeah. Because I mean, he, even in the I guess they had the little face off or the little talk that they had for this particular rematch. He's like, "Listen, you couldn't finish me. You knocked me down and you couldn't finish me. You're rabbits. You middleweight, you're rabbits." But I mean, even with that particular confidence, it like you said, it's completely different. When he's there in the ring too. So
Absolutely.
we have to see how it goes. Cap Quest says they reference to Fury. Win or lose, him and Joshua not going to get that bag. I mean, at least for me, I know that people keep bringing up that potential fight and like it'll be a big fight and things like that. But like how they had the thing there with Joshua and Wilder, I just don't see like where they would have this. I think that window is basically closed for those. If they have Joshua fighting who he was fighting and ended up fighting Daniel Dubois in September, and here with Tyson Fury, having these fights against Alexander Usyk, and they're definitely taking a toll on them. I mean, these guys are north of 35 years old, and usually with the heavyweights, it's more of like a young man sport. I mean, I know you had like a couple of instances where you have a George Foreman, that comes through and things like that, but outside of that, I'm saying like that particular era, the Wilder, Joshua, Fury, Usyk era, that's about to be,
It's about to close.
Yeah, it's about to close. So as far as like that particular fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, like, I mean, if we haven't had it by now, I don't think we're ever going to have it because 2025, yeah, unless if Fury wins and, maybe he says, look, I want that Joshua man or whatever he says, you know what I mean? So we might see like what happens at this particular point with that one. So that's gonna, like I said, that's why there's so much on the line here with that particular rematch between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury there. All right, well, we got at least around 20 minutes or so or whatever it is. Hey, shout out to Bruce Gasbox and Jazz and more. Say a salute to the Boxing Source and Coach Ronnie Shields. He says all heavyweights today are old. I mean, well, not necessarily. I mean, some of them have been in the game for a good little while, like a Joseph Parker, but Joseph Parker is not, as up there in age in comparison to, some of these other guys there.
Right. So exactly.
He said we don't care about much Fury versus Joshua. Oh my goodness.
I tell you this, man. That fight should have been happened. That fight could have been happened, but I don't know what they was waiting on.
Yeah.
And and it's I don't know if it's the management or the promoter's fault on both sides. But that
Yeah.
fight should have been happened, man. I mean,
Right.
I never understood what they was waiting on.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
Usually with fights of that magnitude, it would get to the point where the money would, satisfy both parties. This is
Yes.
something like a cross promotional fight. It's not much different than when you had Fury versus Wilder for the second and third fight. You had
Exactly.
Top Rank, you had PBC Hammond boxing for that. It was
Yep.
a big enough fight for them to work together, like Mayweather versus Pacquiao or something like that.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
Queensberry and Matchroom, they could have been able to come together one time to make that mega fight there. And I'm like, well, here we are in 2024, and now they've been working together to have fights that take place here in 2024. So you mean to tell me y'all couldn't have had it done in 2021, 2022, or whatever it is? Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Real quick here, man. Bronze Man asks, what weight class do you think that David Morrell Jr. might end up, fighting at?
Well, he's going to be 27, in a few weeks. So, he's almost at his peak, man. I think, I don't know, light heavyweight, he'll be able to hold that for a long time. I don't really see him getting as big as a light heavyweight because now cruiserweight then went up to like 200 or something.
Yeah.
And I can't see him with his stature. I don't see him, putting that kind of weight on to be, a cruiserweight. I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think David's going to hit his peak at 175.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we'll have, good amount of fights there at 175 pounds. Of course, we got what's coming up here February 1st against David Benavidez there at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen, man, I done already made my bookings over there for Las Vegas for that particular week. So I'm definitely planning to be there for this.
All right.
I ain't gonna miss that one. That was like I said, that's one fight that I was like, listen, I ain't care if it was at super middleweight or light heavyweight. That's the one that I want to go ahead and see right there. So definitely looking forward to that here. Now we had of course activity there for December 21st. There was something that was supposed to happen within the 154-pound division with Israel Madrimov and Sergey Bohachuk, right?
Yeah.
But now they got it where Israel Madrimov is going to fight Virgil Ortiz. But the thing with Bohachuk, he says, I don't know what it is, appendicitis or he caught a cold or something like that, so he couldn't necessarily make the fight. Yeah. And so I guess this is according to Turkey Al Sheikh. I guess he told that to Ariel Helwani or something like that, man. So what's your thoughts about that whole situation? Because I mean, you got the thing there with Virgil Ortiz. He was, I guess, locked down to fight on February 22nd. He was just, looking for an opponent. So I don't know how kind of had it sorted out.
Yeah, I really didn't understand it from the very beginning, to tell you the truth. Because I think Bohachuk had 2 fights scheduled. And one was with Virgil Ortiz, and so then all of a sudden, but first it was supposed to be Ennis and Virgil Ortiz. They were trying to make that fight. And then they came up with something to saying that Ennis backed out. And that wasn't true at all. Ennis didn't back out of the fight. No, it was not true. Ennis wanted to fight, I believe. But something happened and it couldn't happen, So I think with Bohachuk, I don't really know what the deal is with this dude, man. He's a really good fighter. But Brandon Adams stopped him.
Yeah.
But Brandon Adams stopped him.
Yep.
So, but he's got himself back together, and he's really ranked high, in just about every division now. In every WBA, WBC, IBF. He's involved in that now. So, and I really and truly don't know what's going on with that situation, man, because I don't know if it's his promoter's fault or what. I don't know whose fault it is, but everybody wants to see certain fights, and then all of a sudden this guy, he's over here, he's over there, and I don't know.
Yeah. It's a crazy situation. I mean, you got the thing there with where Sorry Boachuk, he had been, like you said, going up the rankings there, 154 pounds. He, had the win over Brian Mendoza.
Yep,
There, I think that, that was on March 30th in Las Vegas. Then,
yep,
he turned around and had the fight with Virgil Ortiz on August 10th. That was a very close bout that a number of people, including myself, thought that Boachuk had particularly won that fight.
yep,
There, and then they were going to have him put in position to face Israel Madrimov, who had a busy 2024 himself, won the
yep,
WBA title there,
yep,
and then the next fight fought on August 3rd against Terrence Crawford. So
yep,
when they had
yep,
initially had this fight between Madrimov and Boachuk, I was like, hey, this is a really good fight here at 154 pounds with two
yep.
guys, one former champion, former interim champion, but I guess they had this situation here, with Israel Madrimov, and I
Yeah.
think they kind of like worked it out with Madrimov and with his, promoter there, Matchroom, and
Yes.
then you got,
Yeah.
Virgil Ortiz there, and I felt like Virgil Ortiz already knew about fighting in February for months.
He
I
did.
think
He
like,
knew it.
well, yeah,
Of
like
course.
by October or something like that. So
Yeah.
as far as like, I was concerned, having a fight there against Jerron Ennis, whether it was at 154 or 147, that was going to be too quick of a turnaround for Boots Ennis to, go ahead and have that fight. So I was like, no,
Yeah.
I just felt like, they had the whole thing with promotional where they kind of like, throw a lure and then see how many people kind of fight on what they're
Yeah.
trying to do. And that's exactly what happened there with, Virgil Ortiz Jr. and his team. Like
Yeah.
I said, I'm like, I don't mind if you're going to eventually end up fighting Israel Madrimov, or
Right.
if some folks were saying maybe it could have been, who was it that they were talking about? Xander Zayas, because they
Yep.
involved Xander Zayas in the whole thing.
He
And
took
I'm
the
like,
fight. Xander said
yeah,
right
he
away,
said he took
I
the fight.
want this fight.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I said, listen, I don't mind if you had that particular fight, but don't bring in somebody that you really didn't have any intention on fighting. That just
Exactly.
doesn't,
Yeah.
yeah,
It didn't make sense.
yeah, it doesn't make sense there at all there. So, that's one thing I think that some fans don't necessarily understand is that, some promotional companies kind of do that to kind of like say, hey, we're about to fight somebody, but let's see if we, throw this lure, throw this line saying that we look like, we wanted to fight this guy, but we're actually fighting somebody else. So, I
Yep.
mean, that goes on all the time.
All the time. Yeah, it
Yep.
does. It happens all the time.
Yeah, for sure. All right, couple more questions here. One trainer that has been part of your team there, and of course, part of the cover photo there is Coach Bob Santos. There, of course, he's been there, assisting with you with David Morrell Jr. How is it working with Coach Bob Santos?
Actually, I don't work with Bob at all.
Mm,
Bob does the cuts for Morrell.
okay.
And that's it. He just does the cuts. He doesn't, don't do anything in the gym with me, with Morrell.
Okay.
Not at all. As he comes in as the cut man. Chico Rivas is our interpreter for me. And
Mm,
you understand, David. I talk English to David throughout, training,
mm-hmm.
but because I want him to be absolutely sure of what I'm doing. I want it when he fights. I want it to be in Spanish. So this is why I have Chico Rivas there to do that.
Gotcha.
And Chico does a great job. He only says things that I say. He don't try to put in something that I didn't say. And I can trust Chico to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And but other than that, no. I got my trainer. Is a lady named. The last name is Pierce. First name Latravia
Mm-hmm.
Pierce. She is my assistant. She don't get to go to that fight, but because of we have to have certain people in the corner. That's why she is, you don't see her, but you will see her at all these other fights for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely there. And that was actually going to be part of my next question there. But you talk about Bob Santos being a cut man. He's had, of course, a history there of being a cut man himself over the years too. So, definitely having them, him do that is one key thing. But like you said, you have another trainer that's there over in your gym that kind of like works with those Vari there, and also being there in the ring when he has his fights there. And you talk about Latravia, and I say that she's been a key part of your camp there, for some time, and she has been in your corner multiple times over the years there, assisting with the fighters. And as at times, when you've been spread out, so many times with a lot of fighters, she's been, the chief trainer there for a number of fights that's been going on.
Absolutely.
So talk about her impact being there with you there at the gym and being in the ring with these fighters.
The thing about about Travia is, she was a fighter herself, and I used to train her. So, and we had a lot of fights together, and I've been knowing her since she was young, man. And, and she's always been in the gym, and, even when she was an amateur, I knew her since then, and then when she turned pro, she asked me would I work with her, and I told her yes. So she had about 10 fights. I think she lost one fight. Then she decided that that she wanted to not really be a trainer, but she just asked me, could she just come to the gym and help out at some point? I said, yeah, come on. And so she knew how to do the pads already. She knew how to do everything. So I told her, I asked her one day, I said, you know what? You know this game. So, just stick by me and, and I'll help you with this, help you with that, and show you different things, what to look out for. And she said, okay, I'm gonna do that. And I tell you, it was some, because I had other trainers too. And they didn't want her there. It was one in particular that didn't want her there. And, and I'm like, hold up. No, that's not going to happen. We're not going to have that in this gym. We're not going to discriminate because she's a woman. We're not going to do that here. That's not what we do. It don't affect you in no way at all. So don't do this. And it became something that I could tell wasn't good, wasn't right, And then all of a sudden one day he quit, but my trainer quit. So I told him, okay, no problem. Give me the key. I took the key from my gym, and I gave it to her. And I said, now you're my first assistant, and I had a meeting with every fighter that I work with. And I brought her in the middle of the ring. And I told him she was now my first assistant. And if anybody had a problem with it, I don't care. We have world champions.
Yes.
I don't care who you are. If you have a problem with this, there's the door.
There's the door.
That's it.
The door. Yep.
And, but, the thing about it is the guys love her, because she does everything. She goes run with them. She do conditioning with them. She's with them to show them that, I'm with you. She pushes them, not only in the boxing ring, but on their conditioning, on their eating, on everything, and they really appreciate her for that. So, so that's what it is. And, and I'm glad to have her on my team.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, being with her, pretty much when she started her pro career and partly when she was around there with the amateurs. So you see her, grow from that particular point, being a professional, and then, like I said, going into assisting and developing into, a trainer and assisting like that. So you kind of see what, her love is for the sport of boxing. You feel me? And
absolutely.
And with that being said, that's why, when you have like an instance like you were talking about, it's like, yeah, if someone is like saying like, hey, I don't like, this vision or what's going on. And I'm like, and I'll be like, hold up though. It's my gym. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? You know what I'm saying? So like, if you feeling that way, hey man, yeah, like you said with them fighters, like there's an asset. She has definitely been an asset there for you, there at the
Yes.
gym and in the ring, there for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And she, like I said, all the guys love her. They love her because she's there for them. They know that, and and everything is now meshed together. So, so we have no problems in the gym.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, and definitely looking forward to seeing that in action out here. Coming up, like I said, in 2025, definitely have a busy schedule there. So we're definitely going to be seeing her there, in the ring or walking with you there with your fighters. So definitely looking forward to that there. So yeah, that's pretty much it there for where I did it within under an hour basically. So you got that there going on. So. If you can, let the people know where you could where they could follow you on social media.
Yeah, you can follow me at official Ronnie Shields on Instagram.
Yep,
That's
there you
my
go.
yeah. That's me.
Yep. So y'all can follow him on Instagram on official
At,
Ronnie
at official Ronnie Shields.
there. Let me see here. What we got here? I think you got someone that just got on. It says, what is it? Lord Freeze, I guess. Long time no see, brother. How long has it been? 2,000 years already. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what you're doing. So, so yeah, that's like I said, big thanks for you joining on here with us at the Boxing Source. Definitely looking forward to seeing more from you. We'll see if we could maybe schedule something here in the future, or we got to figure out if our guy brother Joseph Perrin is going to be able to get back into gear, and we'll have those weekly discussions there with the Fact or Fiction also.
Oh, absolutely, man. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm looking forward to the next time.
Yeah, gotcha. No doubt. And give my kudos there to your wife, and your dog was having a little bit of had some thoughts on some of the topics there as well. So
yeah. Yeah, he's always around.
for sure. So definitely, we'll see you later. And if there's any time, I have to figure out next time I'm around Houston or whatever it is, and if so, then I'll let you know, and then I'll be able to go by there with your gym there, man.
Absolutely, man.
Coach Ronnie Shields said, "Go cool with my brother." Cool, yeah, hello trainer there. So yeah, so no doubt, but. Yeah, once again, big thanks for joining us here at the Boxing Source, and definitely looking forward to hearing more from you soon.
Okay, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, no doubt.
Later.
So that's it. That's my guy there, Coach Ronnie Shields. Of course, you've seen him multiple times over the years, training multiple fighters. Of course, a former fighter himself there, and as he said, he has a very busy schedule, coming up here in 2025. So definitely looking forward to that. Now, as far as what I got here, I mean, this is usually, the midweek report that I have on Wednesdays and things like that. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to work on, getting more interviews like this going on here, and try to provide more content like this for the people, so trying to get more like I said, more trainers there, like promoters and that type of thing, and also fighters here on the Boxing Source. So so we're trying to get that going here. I'm trying to see if I could get another person on here, because I think they were seeing if they could get on, because I was also seeing if they could join on while Coach Ronnie Shields was on here with us. But that was definitely a great conversation there with Coach Ronnie Shields. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. If you missed any part of the live portion here, you could always, go back to, what's going on either, right now, or just wait until we're pretty much done here on the midweek report, because we have like a few things that's been going on in the sport of boxing. I'm going to see if we could go ahead and talk about a few things there, because I did bring up the part there with Jerron Boots Ennis and how he was part of what was going on there with Virgil Ortiz, but there was also talks about with Boots Ennis potentially fighting Teofimo Lopez. And the thing there was that's more about Teofimo Lopez in this situation there with Top Rank, because you have Teofimo Lopez, who is a WBO champion at 140 pounds, and he's there with Top Rank. You also have a Brian Norman Jr., who is the WBO champion at 147 pounds, and he is with Top Rank. And some of y'all talk about WBO and what the WBO may mean. And at least for me, I would have thought at the very least that they would try to offer that fight with Brian Norman Jr. But guess what? Teofimo Lopez turned that down. Right? Yeah. Teo playing games. Teofimo Lopez turned that down. And if y'all have followed Teofimo Lopez over this year, he's turned down multiple fights. He turned down the fight with Ryan Garcia. Like, I mean, that's crazy. That's why he ended up fighting Jermaine Ortiz. He turned down the fight with Ryan Garcia, and probably could have been put in position for, other key fights within, at the very least, 140 pounds this year. But, as Bronze Man was saying, man, Teo been playing games, man. So, with that being said, I'm like, what in the world is going on with Teofimo Lopez? So, this whole thing about, talk with Teofimo Lopez and Jerron Boots Ennis, well, if the money's there, and if this is what, Teofimo wants, he's talking about, that, Boots is part of his wish list. Well, the folks at Top Rank are like saying, hey, if you want it, well, go ahead, and we'll just see, what you do. If you somehow win this thing here with Boots Ennis, cool. But if not, and you get stopped, we're hands off. So, that being said, I'm like, I have to see how this goes, because if you have the situation there with Boots Ennis talking about, aspiring to unify there in the 147-pound division, you got Mario Barrios there, who has the WBC title and got paid a good amount of money to fight Abel Ramos on that, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul card. And then you got Iamana Stanionis there with the WBA title. There had been talk about them trying to work out that particular deal. But if you have the options of a Iamana Stanionis in your unification or a fight with Teofimo Lopez, which one will be the more lucrative fight? At least for me, I would feel like the Teofimo Lopez fight would be the more lucrative fight there between the two. So we'll definitely have to see how that goes there. So I'm trying to see here, what else has been going down, within the sport of boxing, because at least for this week, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think that there was that much here going on within boxing coming up this week. He says he wanted Ramos to win, would have shook up the division. Yeah, I mean, it definitely would have. And after what was going on in those first few rounds, I thought it was going to be fairly easy for Mario Barrios. But then in the 6th round, you had him be seriously rocked, and then ended up going down to the canvas. So with that happening, that kind of like changed the course of the whole fight, right? And with that being said, that ended up having the second half of the fight be a really good action fight. So, it did end up in a draw, but it ended up being a better fight than maybe some people expected there. So that was like kind of something there that I just didn't see happening there between Mario Barrios and Abel Ramos there. But Barrios still ends up keeping that WBC title, and now it's like, okay, well, what's going to be next? I know that we're in the middle of the WBC convention right now. They had recently announced the rankings for each of the sanctioning bodies. I know that Conor Ben was out there. I think you're in Hamburg, Germany, and he, kind of like made a case to try to be the top challenger for that WBC title. So I don't know. Maybe they could have something with Mario Barrios versus Conor Ben for that WBC belt. We'll see. But yeah, outside of that, man, I don't know if the WBC have like printed their rankings or posted their rankings on their website. I'm waiting so I'll be able to update my site for that, so put on the WBC rankings there. But they did announce different things as far as like mandatory challengers and that type of stuff too. So we do have that. Shout out to Just Do Boxing in the building, man. Peace, my guy. What's going on there, which, man, Just Do Boxing, of course, over YouTube, man. You can go ahead and catch Just Do Boxing, what's going on with anything that's going on in boxing too. He talks about what's happening in the sport of boxing as well, during the pretty much the late afternoons to early evenings here on YouTube there. So you definitely have him to go ahead and check out as well. But yeah, the WBC had their thing there where they release their rankings and also talk about mandatory challengers. And one thing as far as like interesting for mandatory challengers, right, is in the super middle, not the super middleweight, but the super welterweight division. You had Terrence Bud Crawford there in attendance. Terrence Bud Crawford in attendance. And yeah, you've seen pictures of him with, Sebastian Fundora there while being at the WBC convention. But at WBC, the Boxing Source, it's the boxingsource.net, man. The boxingsource.net, man. So you'll have a website there where I put on the rankings there for the sanctioned bodies, and also have a pound for pound on there as well. But wait, maybe it's been some time since I updated the pound for pound rankings, and I'm going to at least wait until what happens with that rematch between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk to update it. But back to the thing there with Terrence Crawford, right? So you got him and Sebastian Fundora, right? And the WBC had ordered for Terrence Crawford to be the WBC mandatory challenger for Sebastian Fundora, right? I kind of found that interesting because, well, for one, Terrence Crawford is already a world champion. Of course, he is the WBA championship with his win over Madrimov, right? So that's number one. But number two is he was already named a mandatory challenger by the WBO, and the WBO pretty much had their whole thing with the negotiation and the 30 days and all that type of stuff, and try to schedule a purse bid. They rescheduled the purse bid, and then it ultimately came up with a resolution. And that resolution pretty much like allowed for Sebastian Fundora to have a voluntary defense of his WBC title and WBO title, right? Okay. But that would require for Sebastian Fundora to defend that title against a fighter that's within the top 15 of the WBO. And of course, he has been rumored multiple times to be fighting Errol Spence Jr. And Errol Spence Jr. is ranked number 1 in the WBC. But as far as I know, he hasn't been ranked in the WBO yet. And shoot, we don't even know if he's still found anybody like for a trainer or anything like that yet. So I'm like, well, if they're still trying to see if they could lock down this fight, well, we have to see when that fight actually happens. Will it be April or will it be later in March? Who knows? But we still have to see if that's going to be taking place first. And it still gives like the WBO a lot of time for them to put Errol Spence in the rankings. So that's pretty much like a technicality on that front. So that's the thing there that we're just waiting on for that. But outside of that, I don't really see that there was like anything else that stood out as far as like the mandatories that they named. They had the thing there with Naoya Inoue that's about to defend his undisputed titles. He talked about the fight between Brandon Figueroa and Stephen Fulton, and that maybe Bruce Carrington could be involved as far as like maybe being the next mandatory. But they said that Carrington could be put in a fight for an eliminator bout for the WBC. So that's the thing there with that as well. But outside of that, there really isn't much as far as like what could stand out there within those new rankings as far as I know. So definitely you'll have to wait on that. But with that being said, that's kind of like what was going on there with the WBC. And I'm just looking forward to what's going on here for the tail end of December. So we have, like I said, that fight coming up with Fury and with Alexander Usyk coming up. But also you have, like I said, Naoya Inoue that's going to be defending his undisputed titles there at super bantamweight. But I have like another guest, great guest here coming on with me. I was able to jump on here. Of course, he had something going on this past weekend there, with Jalil Hackett there against, was it Jose Ramon Vasquez? And that was a very controversial decision there that had Jalil Hackett on the short end. But right now, I have a great guest here with me, of course, father and head trainer there of Jalil Major Hackett, and that's my guy there, Brother Bernard Hackett. What's going on, Brother Bernard?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Oh, doing all good, man. Doing all good. Definitely had like a lot of stuff that's been going on this weekend, and I know that you were talking about what happened over in Puerto Rico, and at least for me, man, I felt like that was a clean win for Jalil Hackett. But I also felt like after listening to the decision, man, it felt like a setup, to me there from that, because when I heard what was it, David Diamante reading them scores live, and I was like, he said 96-94 for Vasquez. I'm like, oh man, I know something's up with this shit. Just be real. I know something was up with this. So they had the other thing 96-94, but then they said another judge with that 96-94 for Vasquez. So ended up having the decision launched for Jalil, but Jalil's been taking it in stride, just saying like, hey, you know what? Back in the lab, back in the gym, and back at what's going down, and you pretty much had that same mentality with them.
Yeah, that's how we view it. We was just as shocked as you were when they said we lost. I don't understand. My score, I had it 7 rounds to 3. I said Jalil lost the first round, and I gave Vasquez the 9th and the 10th. But I gave Jalil round 2 through 8. He had the effective aggression. I know he landed more shots because you ain't seen nobody put no CompuBox type situation out for that fight, because once again it didn't make sense. But I teach my son not to cry with spilled milk, so we ain't gonna cry. We just moving on to the next one, and we're just trying to get ready for our next fight.
Yeah, and the thing, like you said there, within those 3 rounds, I was like, yeah, because for two of those judges to say that Jalil Hackett only won 4 rounds, that was the thing that got me. I'm like, you mean to tell me that you couldn't score more than 4 rounds for Jalil Hackett? Nah, that just don't sound right to me. Because like I said, with Vasquez, he was fighting pretty much on his back foot for the majority of the fight. Wasn't as active with his offense, and in the middle rounds he was doing a whole lot of holding that the referee didn't really talk about, or
I mean, the referee never even gave him a warning for holding. Yeah, and I don't even understand how we get to that. I said that must have been his uncle or something, because he never even gave him a warning for holding.
Yeah, not one warning whatsoever. And I'm like, man, this didn't make any sense at all there in this particular bout. And like you were saying there, I know you've had conversations there with my guy, Jay Hardcore Boxing News. There, you were also on there with Mill City Boxing. Pretty much like the next day, you were there with Mill City and Brother Zab Judah. There, like you said, you're gonna be right back in the lab. Get yourself back in town, get settled in, and then after a few days, you're gonna be right in the lab. So that's how you gotta approach it.
Yeah, we'll be right back in the gym next week.
Yeah,
I always tell Jalil to take a week off, relax, let his body chill. We just came off a long camp. and we came off a fight. After he let his body chill and relax, we be right back in the gym getting ready for the next assignment.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now I know, of course, I've been there at the gym, and I was there, a couple weeks before y'all went over to Puerto Rico and things like that. But one of the other stories there, for this fight was in reference to Jalil Hackett and his weight, and I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Like he makes weight, he made weight comfortably there for this fight at 147 pounds. So and they were like, I guess it was the who was it on the zone that was commenting. He's talking about, oh well, maybe there was some things about him having trouble making weight, and so you probably have to watch to see if he was gonna get tired in the later rounds. And we seen that he didn't get tired at all in the round. So I don't know where they got this whole thing about saying that Jalil Hackett was having issues making 147 pounds.
Man, Jalil got on the scale one time, and it said 147. So I don't know where they're coming from. We can't make weight. He didn't have to get on the scale 2 times. He didn't need to use an hour to get his weight down. He got on 147. I love to know where this narrative came from that he was tired, because if you watch the fight from round 1 through 10, Jalil pressed the issue the entire time. So I would love to know where they're talking about he was tired.
Yeah, that was the thing about it. I'm like, he was still, having the same pace over the course of the fight. So I don't know, where they got that from, or hey, it's available, there on the YouTube channel there for the Zone Boxing. So folks could go right back to it and see what was going on there over the course of the fight. So I'm definitely looking to see what's going to happen here next for Jalil Hackett. One of the other things also that stood out, at least after the fight, was like comments there from Matchroom Boxing Chairman Eddie Hearn. I guess he was, talking about, what was happening there with Jalil Hackett, and also with another one of those his fighters. I guess it was Mark Castro that was part of that card as well. That ended up getting his loss. Yeah. Shout out to Bronze Man. Yeah, that's who I was thinking about. It was Chris Mannix. It was Chris Mannix that was saying that stuff about maybe Jalil Hackett having issues making weight. I'm like, man, what in the world, Chris Mannix, man? Man, he'll. That's the thing, Mannix don't really be around folks like that, so he wouldn't really know that type of stuff there with Jalil Hackett, though. You feel me? But yeah, we were talking with Eddie Hearn and what Eddie Hearn was saying. Like, did you get anything from what he was talking about?
No, I mean, once again, I think Eddie Hearns may have been frustrated with hearing so many people say the things about, how he moved prospects, and he just lashed out.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. I mean, at the end of the day, I want people to always remember, a promotion company is not your mom, your dad. It's not your uncle, your aunt. It's not your best friend. It's a company that hired you to perform a task. If they're not happy with the way you perform the task, they can let you go. If they're happy with the way you perform a task, they can continue to work with you. Just like if you finish a contract, if you're not happy with what you got, you can leave. And it's the same way. I don't put any value or any or get in my emotions about what Eddie Hearn said, because that's what Eddie Hearn felt at the time. I do think that frustration does a lot of stuff. But what I will say is, my son is always professional. My son has never done anything that was unprofessional with any company that he has been with. And I just think that we got to look at everything as a whole picture. That's what I say.
Yeah.
And when you look at it as a whole picture, you might see things differently. You might see them the exact same, but look at them as a whole picture. Only thing I say is, we'll fight anybody. My son don't mind fighting anybody, long as he can get a fair shake. And like I said, Eddie Hearns didn't officiate that fight. He was a promoter, but he didn't officiate. We had 3 officials from Puerto Rico that saw it the way they saw it. We had a referee from Puerto Rico that saw things the way he saw it. Nothing's going to change it, and we're going to move on. If we get a chance to fight him again, we are more than willing to fight him. But if we fight again, then let's do it on U.S. soil. Let's do it Let's do it somewhere where everything neutral. Let's make sure that the officials are neutral and make sure the referee is neutral, and make it a fair shake. I wouldn't tell my son to do nothing different in that fight. He pressed the action. He pushed the tempo. Anywhere else in the United States, Jaleel gets that win and he's still undefeated. But that's in the past. Now we moving forward. Roman is now the champion. And, let him have his title reign. But if we can get that fight, it'll be a very short title reign.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like I said, we had Jaleel Hackett there at number 14 in WBA going into that particular fight and had that title there. So you have it where you can have the position to go ahead and get a rematch, but also if you have those options to have other fights that are out there, you'll be able to definitely take them there at that particular point. So that's going to be something there to kind of like watch out for. You know what I mean? So also you had another thing that happened there. After the fight, day after the fight, we're talking about with Mill City Boxing, Zab Judah there, of course, former 2-division world champion, former undisputed welterweight champion, and this kind of like came from immediately to the fight. It's one thing when people say something when a fighter is coming up, but I feel like you really know about somebody after a fighter loses, right? And so with that being said, there was like a reaction there from a certain fighter by the name of David Benavidez, that had some comments about Jaleel Hackett. And I'm like, well, at least for me, I'm like, why in the world would Devin Haney say something about Jaleel Hackett? And then I see what the the backstory of it is. I'm like, well, a whole bunch of people had comments about what happened with Devin Haney about that certain topic. So why would you go after one specific person about this after what was going on with Jaleel Hackett? So that's why you had what we had as far as like the reaction there on Sunday, where you said, "Hey, look, it don't matter if it's an actual fight or if it's sparring or whatever. We want to go after Devin Haney, and we'll do what it takes to make that happen."
That's a fact. I mean, Devin said what he said. You got the right to say what you want to say. And we come back and say what we want to say, and everything we say is about how do we get a fight. We ain't worried about all that other stuff. Whenever you confront my son dealing with the sport of boxing, we gonna come at you with the one thing that we know we can come at you with. So when we fighting, we don't have to talk about nothing else when we fighting. And they ran for the hills like they normally do. I mean, they do a lot of coward stuff, but that's just the way they are. And we're not one of them people that's just gonna let it be. That's just the way they are. If you stand up and say something, then stand on it. If you feel Jaleel is a bum, then guess what? Fight him. If you don't want to fight him, let's spar. We both had to be in camps. You can let the whole world look at it, because we know Devin get amnesia from sparring, because it took years for us to see it, but Tank beat his ass, and Adrian Bronner was separating that shit to keep Devin from getting fucked up. The video don't lie. People can say what they want, but the video don't lie. So we can put that shit on video if you want. He love recording sparring sessions. He got cameras all over his gym. See if he put that sparring session out when Jaleel break his foot off in his ass.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if you're gonna have all that talk, then why don't you just go ahead and back it up? At least here on his side, he ain't that busy. Like, he ain't got nothing lined up. At least right now he does. So
Nah.
Why not just go ahead and settle what's happening here right now?
Yeah, if he looking for a tune-up, like he said, before he go back at somebody else, we in line. We the first ones in line that said we'll take that tune-up, because it'll be the last tune-up he have. I was honest. I said he get a tune-up with Jaleel. If it go 10 rounds, Devin Haney will probably get a W. I don't have no problem saying that. But because we not gonna go 10 rounds, Jaleel will stop Devin. And that's not me just saying it. Bill know it. That's why Bill ain't called me no liar. Bill been calling people for a while, trying to keep Jaleel off Devin ass. Before Jaleel turned pro, Devin called Leonard Ellaby and asked Leonard Ellaby, man, can you get the kid to ease up off Dev? And he couldn't say I was lying. You know how Bill loved to say when somebody lying on him. He didn't say I was lying because he know I'm telling the truth. And for all these people out there talking about X, Y, and Z with Dev, Bill don't even feel that way. Y'all got more faith in Devin than Bill got. Bill know the truth.
Mm-hmm. See, and the thing that you was talking about, like you were saying, like, hey, if there's anything that I'm saying that ain't true, go ahead and say that it ain't true, so I could bring out what I can bring out. I can bring out the the receipts.
Yeah, and you notice on his Twitter, Bill thought about it. Bill called the dudes that we both know that put that conversation together, and after he thought about it, he gonna get on social media talking about, I was trying to do y'all a favor. I was trying to you wasn't trying to do me no favor. You was trying to get Jaleel to be friends with Devin and get off his ass. That's what Bill was doing. Man, we could get Jaleel and Devin to ride around and bump some of that music they listen to and take pictures and show everybody they friends. Man, nobody trying to do that sucker shit with Bill, please.
Nah, because that I don't even know like how they could even try something like that. Because if y'all wasn't like rocking with Jaleel and Coach Bernard, like when it was coming up, then why you trying to do it now?
Because Bill got to be friends with niggas to keep Devin safe. That's why. Everything you've heard about dealing with Bill and everything you hear people say, it always come back to some fake ass pimp shit when he try to smooth shit over and be friends. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit.
I mean, it's something, man. I mean, he's been able to guide Devin's career to where it's been at, but outside of that, it's kind of like some things he does is kind of funny to some people. You feel me?
It ain't funny. It's called sucker shit. I'm from the generation where that's what we called it, sucker shit.
Yeah, straight up. So, Lord Freezer said, hey, he said true. He made friends with Shakur Stevenson too. Trying to do the same bit that he's trying to do there with Jaleel Hackett, man. So yeah, he said, yeah. Speaking of all facts, there when it comes to Bill and Devin Haney, man. So I mean, like I said, I'm like, I don't even know why they even delve themselves into this type of business. But since they open the door, all right, you got to be ready for the smoke coming back at you. And it don't look like, at least right now, they ain't ready for the smoke that's coming back at them.
Man, I knew before we started this shit that Bill wasn't gonna get out of pocket. Bill know better. Bill know damn well that Jaleel will fuck Devin up. If he didn't feel that way, why was the nigga calling people trying to keep Jaleel off Devin ass? I mean, you could be a fan of anybody, but you got to look at the reality of shit.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, some people don't know that we talked about when you had Jaleel out there in Vegas a couple of times and what he's been doing out there. So it ain't like Devin and Bill don't know about Jaleel being like that. Like, this is like something that they knew about.
I mean, when you ever heard of a fighter that's 31-0 keeping tracks on a fighter that's 9-0 if you wasn't envious of them or scared of them? Them the only two things.
And the thing too though with Devin Haney, right? When he had his fight against Regis Prograis, they was talking about him going up to 147 then. So it ain't like, it's anything when it comes to like a size issue or a size difference issue or anything like that, because he would be able to have the frame to get out there to 147 and have the fight. So if he's talking about it, why not go ahead and run it?
Man, let me tell you something. When you look at the people putting these fights out, Shout out to Matchroom. Shout out to Eddie Hearns. Shout out to Turkey Alla Sheik. These niggas like Devin be snowballing people. You want to give Devin all this money, or Devin want to fight for all this money, it's great. We'll take the short money just to show you that Devin not who y'all think he is. You know, if Devin get knocked out by Jaleel, and I say if because we got to see when he'll take the fight. Devin basically over in the eyes of fans. In my eyes, he not over because I expected Jaleel to knock Devin out. Devin wouldn't be over, but in the eyes of fans, he'd be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Devin know damn well this not just a regular 9-1 dude. I don't have no problem saying it because Devin is not a regular 31-0 dude because it's a star beside that O. No matter what they turned over, the whole world seen Ryan cook your ass. And then you did do some old hoe shit. You gonna try and press charges for assault and battery on the man when we deal in a business that requires you to assault and battery somebody.
Yeah, what part of the game is that? Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And thing is, it's like, well, it's not like, okay, it's one thing for Ryan to do what he did, but Devin Haney going into the fight was like significantly favored to win the fight. He was supposed to be the guy that was, that had the accolades and all that type of stuff, and should have been able to have the tools in order to defeat Ryan Garcia there at that particular instance, and just fell for the same thing multiple times.
When I watched the fight live that night, I had it as a 50-50 fight because they had so much past history together. It's hard to go in there and demolish somebody that you got a lot of past history with. But Ryan showed it was possible because he damn sure demolished his ass.
Mm-hmm. That is true. That is true. So it's like now, I think that vision of having those knockdowns and ultimately having the decision not in favor is really kind of gotten into the psyche of Devin Haney. And we seen, what was happening immediately after the fight, weeks after the fight. They almost acted like, it didn't happen to him or whatever it was. And now he had the thing where it was overturned. So they're kind of still going over that, like you said, 31-0 and that type of stuff. But
man, that's 31-0 with a star next to it.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. So if they, have any, like I said, if they have an issue with you and Brother Jaleel, then hey, I'll let it in the ring, whether it's in an actual fight or over sparring. Like, go ahead and make that happen. You had something there where you said, hey, I'll put what $10,000 up, and then you got other folks that said, hey, they'll pitch in. We'll put up $100,000 to have Jaleel Hackett be in the ring there with Devin Haney, man.
Man, let me tell you something, man. I know a lot of real dudes in this sport. I know a lot of dudes that's fake. When Jaleel and Richardson Hitchens had their little issue, good dudes from New York called me, got in touch with me. Both of them was up in New York. They sparred and they put it in and they got it off their chest. They ain't had no issue since then. Bill don't know how to do shit like that. Bill know how to try and distract you from the realistic point at hand. That's why you got to keep telling people, stay focused. Stay focused because Bill will distract you. Bill is like a magician. He try to use sleight of hand to get you looking the wrong way.
Mm.
And it's up to us to not let Bill do that. We got to hold him to the fire. Like he said, he an 8-figure nigga. So if you an 8-figure nigga and you can't call Eddie Hearns to make the fight happen, and you can't get in touch with the Turk to make it where Jaleel can fight you, then you promote the fight, Mr. 8-figure nigga. You promote the fight. Pay Devin whatever you gonna pay Devin, and just make us an offer. We ain't turning shit down. We just gonna bust your ass.
Mm.
And if you don't want to do that, like I always said from the very beginning, 8 ounces or 16 ounces, a fight will spawn. We just want to put our hands on Devin.
Yeah, that's the thing. You said supposed to have the money. They got DHP, Devin Haney Promotions and whatnot. And I know they worked with Eddie Hearn in the past, but given their previous circumstance, uh, he couldn't necessarily defend that WBC title because they felt like, hey, he was worth $1.4 million in the purse bid. So, hey, it is what it is with that. So that's why I say,
ain't nobody bid on that shit. I'm gonna be honest to Devin and Bill, just like I be honest to me and my son. You coming off a loss that you got overturned. The last time people saw you in the ring, you lost. My son, whether we agree with the loss or not, the last time people saw him in the ring, he coming off a loss. So nigga, you ain't worth shit. You ain't worth it. You and Jaleel, y'all need each other. Y'all need each other. Jaleel beats your ass, we keep it moving. But don't talk that shit. Don't throw stones and try to hide, because the same shit you saying was the same shit that happened to you.
He said, Lord Freezer, he said, Bill, that uncle that promises you a birthday gift but returns with a gift from Goodwill.
Man, Bill a special dude, man. What it is, Bill like to say shit and hope he could get away with it. And sometimes he do get away with it. But he not getting away with that shit with my son. I don't care if we take 10 fights and we lose all 10 of them. We still gonna say until we in the ring with Devin, we better than him. We'll beat Devin. We can't beat nobody else, we'll beat Devin. That's what I'm gonna keep saying. Ain't nobody scared of Devin pillow fisted ass. Ain't nobody worried about getting knocked out by no Devin.
Yeah, he ain't had one knockout since he been over here this week.
Man, let me tell you. I respect Jose Roman. We just fought him. Devin couldn't take that type of pressure. Jaleel putting that type of pressure on Devin, he gonna fold like a fucking envelope.
Yeah, constant pressure, man. He don't know how to deal. It don't look like he know how to deal with it. Because I mean that's basically what he did there with Ryan Garcia.
He can't take that type of pressure from Jaleel. He can't take it. Especially if he ain't got a referee and 3 judges that's gonna let his ass hold on, and they're gonna give him 3 or 4 rounds before the fight even starts.
Yeah, that definitely looked like what happened there. Cause I'm like, man, like, ain't no motherfucking way you give that Vasquez guy 6 rounds in that fight. Ain't no way, ain't no way. Said what? Bill brought the hood in him when he had nothing to say about Floyd's 50-0. Damn, man. Yeah, he getting on Bill Haney, man. But yeah, like I said originally, I don't understand why they would kind of say what they said about Jaleel Hackett. I just
Man,
feel
Bill wasn't with Devin when he said that. Bill was not with Devin when he said that. Devin was probably out with some friends. He was drinking. He got that liquid courage in him, and he said something on social media that he wouldn't say in public. Bill wasn't with him, because if Bill would have been with him, Bill would have drop kicked the phone out of his hand and stepped on it before he got to push the send button.
So yeah, Bill know, because I know you were talking about something with my guy Brother Jay Hardcore Boxing News when they had the whole situation between Devin Haney and Gary Russell Jr. some time back.
Yeah, that's how this shit all started for real. I think Jaleel was 17 then, and he was going back and forth with Gary, and he wasn't doing that. Now that we know Bill and Devin, he wasn't doing nothing but clout chasing. That's all he was doing. But he was going back and forth with Gary. Gary got tired of that shit. I think it just said, fuck Devin. And Bill came out and said, man, you making DC look bad. And when he said that, Jaleel went right on that same show he was on and said, hey, Bill, if Devin can't get no work from Gary, then you could definitely get that work from me. We can get it in sparring. Even then, he said in sparring. And Bill with that fake ass pimp shit. Oh, young nigga, I love what you're doing, and you supposed to have that energy. I understand. I salute you, young guy. That old fake ass shit. And so Devin been holding that shit for the longest time. And Devin ain't mad at Jaleel. I'm going to be honest with you, the psychological part. Devin mad at his father. Devin mad at his father. Man, you turned down a 17-year-old, and I was an undefeated pro, and his father probably put his hand on his shoulder and said, son, that 17-year-old will fuck you up. And he been mad at his father ever since.
Hey, that thing you said about Bill and how we, that is Bill Haney. I'm telling you, that is Bill Haney, because I've seen that multiple times when we talk about, oh yeah, it will like him. I mean, he's respectable. That's a respectable young man, and that type of stuff. He will say that. Just being honest, he will say that for sure. He will say that for sure, man. So it's
That's
gonna be
that fake ass pimp game.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be
That's
something
that
to
fake
see.
pimp game. Man, somebody need to tell Bill. Somebody need to tell Bill that shit that he used to bust out to pick up new girls. It don't work on everybody else.
Man. Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to see how this whole joint turned out, man. And you know what it is. I'll be able to catch up with you, next week and everything like that. So I know you out and about and doing your thing, man. So we'll be able to catch up.
Man, anytime, man. Anytime to you. You and your audience, I appreciate y'all. If you like us, if you don't like us, just do us one favor. And that's keep posting to Bill Haney when you gonna fight or spar Jaleel Hackett. Whether you want to see Devin fuck Jaleel up or you want to see Jaleel fuck Devin up. Either way, we got the same goal. Keep on Bill's ass.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no doubt, man. So that's it, man. You got, like I said, Coach Bernard Hackett there, of course, with his son, Jaleel Hackett, and things like that. So we gonna see how this is gonna sort out here over the next couple of weeks. Because I'm telling you, there's something that's going to happen. I feel like something's going to happen one way or the other. So y'all stay tuned to that. And you said, like, how many fights does Jaleel have with Matchroom? Oh man, wish I was able to ask him that kind of question there. But I'll say if I'll reach out to him later in reference to that. Because I think, usually they have something where it's like, either like 1 year deal maybe, or, 3 or 4 fights, depending on what the direction is there for Jaleel Hackett. But I'll be able to, get that sorted out here later on down the line when I, go ahead and talk with them over there with their gym. Because like you said, they're going to be right back at it here starting next week. So we're going to definitely get more from Coach Bernard Hackett and Jaleel Hackett here. So definitely, want to see what happens here and how this story develops with, Jaleel Hackett, Coach Bernard Hackett, and Devin and Bill Haney there. So that's I definitely wanted to get them on here, on the midweek report as well. But that's what I have here, man, because I wanted to make sure I get my guy Coach Bernard Hackett on here with us as well. But we definitely had a great show here on the midweek report for December 11th. As we had, of course, the great Coach Ronnie Shields and now Coach Bernard Hackett here with us on the midweek report. I'll pretty much be, trying to, snip, cut and paste and all that type of stuff here. So you'll be seeing some clips around here on the social media waves there, like I said, through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You're gonna be seeing it there. And like I said, support the hit movement, hit the subscribe button. You want to contribute to the Boxing Source and want to be a sponsor or something like that. You see the Cash App there, the Boxing Source. We try to get more and more content here for you. Been working on trying to get brother Demetrius Salita back on here with us. But he has, of course, his upcoming fight card here. Of course, Big Time Boxing USA that's going to be on the Zone tomorrow night. So you'll be able to check out Big Time Boxing USA tomorrow night there through Salita Promotions. And then after that, going into next week, we'll see if we have Demetrius Salita on here with us on the Boxing Source as well. And I'll try to set up some more interviews here to be part of this channel and once this is all done, I'm gonna have this in full form. Also I'm gonna try to edit this thing here and there and have it in full form. That'll be available on Rumble as well. So for those that kind of like switch between YouTube and Rumble, it'll be available here on Rumble as well, as far as like the interviews are concerned. So y'all be stay tuned for that. But with that being said, that's it for me here at the Boxing Source, at least for Wednesday. We'll see about having a podcast on Sunday, but y'all probably be out and about over the weekend, so we'll see if that actually happens. But y'all just stay tuned. Spread the word here for the Boxing Source. What is it, man? I got I don't forgot like how many subscribers I have here on YouTube, man. Like it's been around 25. We pretty much reached 2,500 subscribers here on the Boxing Source. So we're definitely working towards getting to 3,000. We'll see if we can get to 3,000. But it's basically about me just putting in the work, staying consistent, and everything like that. So that's what I'm gonna do here for y'all. So like I said, stay tuned. We'll have more content for you here in the Boxing Source. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.